Our next lesson is talking about how to adjust color in Illustrator. So let's open up the page and see where it goes. All right. On my blank page here, I have the ability to draw my shape. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a nice square. Tired of that yellow color. Let's use something else. So with that color, I have a swatch palette that allows me to adjust and try out different colors. Now, this is that swatch palette that's up here in the top corner. If you don't see the swatch palette, go to the window menu and open swatches. These are the basic colors that get preloaded with Illustrator. And let me tell you, they are boring. But a lot of people don't realize that you can modify and create custom color pretty easily in Illustrator. There are also what we call libraries. In the swatch palette, there is a little library button that allows you to look at other libraries of color. So let's just scroll down and I'll just pick one like foods, fruit. Okay, and I can expand this little palette. These are some preset colors that I don't know what fruits they represent, but they're little groupings of swatches. That's one way to look for colors you might want to use in Illustrator. But let's talk about creating a custom color. One of the things you can do is double click on your fill box, and that pulls up the color picker. Now, that color picker works a lot like Photoshop, where you have a main square that allows you to pick the color value, and then the slider, which allows you to move that color up and down the slider. So you can pick from cool to warm and everything in between. Notice while you're working, you get these little numerical values. You have your RGB formula, your CMYK formula, and even your hex formula down here. So those of you that need web color, there is a hex number available. Those printers out there, you got that CMYK, and then for displays, you got that RGB. I'm going to hit cancel. So let's say I want to create a custom color. I should have kept the one I made, but let's say I'm going to make this new custom color and I love it. And I click OK, and now that's my color. Well, I want to save that. I go over here to the swatch palette and I click new swatch. This is where I get the option to keep that color. So it's going to give me the formula for that little color, and it's going to ask me what type. Is it a process color or a spot color? For now, I just leave it on process color. It asks me if I'm using the CMYK or RGB color mode. Typically, I'm working in Illustrator. I need it to be print ready, so I just leave everything in CMYK. The other little option here, which is helpful, is this little global button. All that does is it means that it's going to link the different instances of that color within your document, but it doesn't make it a spot color or anything like that. So I just usually leave that unchecked. Then I'm going to click OK, and now that swatch is a part of my library. So one of the things I want to say is don't get caught just using the average normal swatches. There's a bazillion colors to choose from. So make a different color. All right. Under the window menu, we can also find the other color palettes that can help us. So another one here is just color itself. This one is, I'm going to drag it off here. And if you don't see these different options, double click the tab until it expands and you see all these options. Well, this also has a little slider you can use and move the little eyedropper over it to make a custom color. Sometimes I might have this this palette above the swatches, and I have it all right here so that I can customize and pick out colors, get the ones I want, create a new swatch, drop it in there, and then I'm just kind of like recording my colors as I go, making those swatches that I need. The next little palette, which I really love, is called the color guide. So if I go to the window menu, expand the color guide. This one, it gives you kind of options. It basically takes the color you have selected. So the main color right here is this green. But here it is. It's a tiny little drop-down menu here. When you click it, whoa, I get all of these different colors. I got, the color harmonies that work off of that swatch, which is really fun. So if I want a complementary color scheme, analogous, and so on, I can select from this grouping. And so let's say I like the complementary color. Well, if I click plus, boom, I can drop that little color scheme onto my palette. So those are fun ways to interact with color. Don't just accept the basic colors that get installed with Illustrator. You can always customize. Now, those of you more advanced students might want to worry about, spot color and stuff for printing. We'll get to that later. But one more thing I want to mention here is gradients. So basically gradients aren't super easy to start and use, but you can do a lot of interesting things with them. So let's just say that in your swatch palette, if I click on a grayscale gradient, it adds that gradient to my object. If I want to modify that gradient, I have to use the gradient tool. That gradient tool allows me to drag my cursor and change the direction of that gradient. I can go in any direction I want, and that's pretty handy. If I want to change the color of this gradient, I can do it a couple different ways. I can hover my cursor over the little color dial here on either end of the gradient. If I click that, I had to double click it to get it to open up. It will pull up and show me the different colors I already have selected in my swatch palette. If I click on the swatches, I can change that color in that gradient to whatever I want. All right. So the basics of working with gradients is you kind of start with the basic gradient that's in the swatch palette, and then you change its color to what you want. I wish there was like a more direct way to just make a gradient, but it doesn't happen. Once you get that gradient the way you want it, so like let's say I got the color I want and I've adjusted this the way I want it to be, well, I can save that gradient as a swatch too. If I click the little plus button on my swatch palette, it asks me, do you want to make that? Oh, I have this still selected, so I'm going to deselect that. So I'm going to go back, reselect that object so it lets go. Now it recognizes that I have a gradient swatch. I'm going to click plus. It's going to say, do you want to name this thing? Sure. Click OK. Boom. Now I got a little gradient swatch in my swatch palette. So those little swatches are handy as you create your custom color, as you change your color around, store the color you like. The thing is, in Illustrator, each independent file holds on to your swatches. So if I create a new file, notice those swatches disappeared. So that can be a little annoying. As you're working with an object, you've got one file that has a whole bunch of swatches you made, you really like, and then you move over to a new file and those swatches aren't there anymore because it sets you back to 0. There are different ways around that. You can store your files and group your own swatches and copy and paste them into your new document. Or if you're using Creative Cloud effectively, you can upload your swatch palettes to your library and download them and have them added into your swatch library. But either way, what I tend to do is when I'm working on a particular project, the color just changes for that project and I store that inside that file. If I need to hang on to it for another one, I end up copying or saving a copy to make that into a new one. All right, so let's move on to the next thing.